This week on Dear Bros, guys worried about getting married.
Ooh.
Again.
Ooh. Stay tuned.
Ooh.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Burnout Podcast. I'm Tim Fulton.
I'm Andy Smith.
And this is Dear Bros, a segment where we answer advice column questions because why not?
Fuck
not?
it. Fuck it.
Andy, you're up. What do you got?
Okay, so this one is titled Financial Pain of Past Divorce Factors into New Relationship. It's a little bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
But here it goes. I've been dating my partner, Lizzie, Thin Lizzie, for 5 years. We are both divorced and have created a blended family of 6 children. 4 are hers, 2 are mine.
Fair.
I'm within 10 years of retirement and have a decent net worth. Unfortunately, Lizzie has no savings and is unemployed. Fucking bum.
Red flag.
Fucking bum. Just kidding. During the time together, I paid for everything, which I'm okay with.
Fair.
I previously went through a nasty, contentious divorce. It was financially devastating. Ugh. My ex still brings me back to court every year in an attempt to increase her support, which is a painful process. Understandable. Lizzie would like us to get married, primarily for financial stability. Red flag number dos.
Yeah.
Dos calientes. I am resistant because I do not want the financial exposure of another divorce. Smart man. However, this situation creates an inequality in our relationship. Well, tell her to equal it out by getting a job. Can I address her concern without marrying her, or are we doomed? Sacred Court in California. Or Scared Court in California.
Scared court in California. I mean, there is the quick solution of prenup.
Prenuptial agreement.
Prenuptial agreement. If she wants to get married for financial stability, make sure that the financial stability stays with the marriage and that doesn't leave with the marriage.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be. But are prenups as solid as they used to be applicably in court now?
From my years of marriage law, I would say
because you are a marriage lawyer in your previous profession. That's
in
why
my
I'm
previous lifetime.
Yeah, okay.
My previous lifetime. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. I don't know.
Because there's a weird thing where like you can get a prenup, but then if there's like, oh, if you cross this kind of finish line, then it doesn't matter, or some weird shit.
Well, you can put in stipulations in there. So he could say, I want a prenup, and she could be like, all right, except if you cheat. But that has to all be written. So
they removed, I only know this because, how do I say it? Certain people I know have been through certain things, and they literally have gone through the process, and same situation. Like adultery used to be a thing in New Jersey. I'm specifically talking New Jersey. And his lawyer told him, like, there's no such thing as that anymore. It's just inconsolable differences. Like, there's no adultery. So there's no statute for them to push that against because it doesn't exist.
Okay.
And she was like, his lawyer, who was a female, was basically like, you would literally have to have, like, videotape timestamp dated of the offense, and even then it would most likely get thrown out. And she told him the only thing that you're going to do by trying to prove that is make me a richer person. So don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was like, that's it. She's like, that's it. There's no such thing anymore.
Okay.
Which is weird.
It is a little weird.
But that being said, prenup, I guess, would be the way to go.
I mean, what alternative is there?
Which, as far as I'm concerned, right? And the only thing that I'll extend an olive branch for is if someone's agreed to be like the caretaker of like the children of the house, right? Mm-hmm. So it used to be like housewife, but sometimes, a lot of cases, the wife makes more than the man, right? So if the dude's a stay-at-home dad, right, and he agrees to like give up his career or whatever to raise the kids and take care of the household, or the woman agrees to give up her career and take care of a household, I could understand there being like hey, like if we get divorced, like I haven't been in the workforce. I haven't been forwarding my career. I don't have a pension anymore. Like there's got to be some kind of like, I gave this up for you to pursue yours.
So going back to, I almost said the annulment, going back to the prenup, I think you can define that as well. So you can, in a prenup, you can say, I want my pre-marriage wealth to be defended, but everything thereafter is okay. So just throwing numbers out there, say dude over here is worth $1 million currently standing. Total net worth $1 million. He can write a prenup saying that $1 million will not be touched if, ands, or buts. Say they're married for the next 10 years and decide to get a divorce. Within that time, his net worth, their net worth, increases $500,000 or whatever. She can.
That's what's on the table.
That's what's on the table. It gets a little bit more interesting, and I don't know what the answer is with whatchamacallit, alimony payments, which is probably what he's really concerned about. And
that's where the weird part comes in, because you see like the best example is like sports figures, because they're like ridiculous levels of wealth.
Yeah.
And the courts are like, yeah, you owe her $900,000 a month for the rest of your life. And you're like, why? I don't understand that. Or say it was the other way around. Why do you owe someone that much money? It's like, well, that's the lifestyle they became accustomed to. It's like, shit happens, bro. Sorry.
Yeah.
You don't. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know those fine-tuned details.
I just know because I follow sports in some capacity. But yeah, so with this guy's in particular case, I understand his reservations, because especially if the ex marriage did not go well.
Yeah.
And he's still literally fighting every year. And it's regardless of whether it goes through or not that he has to pay more, he still has to go to court.
Yeah.
And be like, I want to keep the money that I make and not give it to somebody I used to be with years ago. Right?
I
It's
prefer
funny
if that
'cause
wasn't a thing.
this actually applies to something I heard a story about recently. This guy was convicted. This is, again, like I went under a few bridges listening to this on the radio, so it was in and out. But the gist of the story is, guy gets convicted of rape and murder, I believe.
Okay.
Goes to prison. His wife's like, you're a scumbag, I'm divorcing you. I didn't do it. Right? No, you're a scumbag, I'm divorcing you. Okay, gets convicted. He does like 20, 30 years in prison. Find out he's innocent. Court's like, all right, you're free. And they're like, here's $4 million for your restitutions, which, as far as that's concerned, I think that's like lofty compared to like other wrongful convictions where they're like, here's 20 grand.
Yeah.
30 years of your life gone. The ex-wife is suing him for that money.
That's fucked.
To be like, well, we were married and I want that money. I want my half. Like, I'm trying to think of a bigger piece of shit that was never a dictator. And I'm having a hard time. But like, can you imagine that?
No.
Can you imagine doing 30 years in prison for a crime you didn't commit? Oh yeah, by the way, it's rape and murder.
So everyone hates you.
So everyone
hates you.
Everyone hates you. And then you're like, oh yeah, you're innocent. And then they're like, sorry for 30 years. We figure what, 20 grand a year? Here's $4 million or whatever the math is. I'm not good at math. So they give him the money, and then like your ex-wife who left you, didn't believe you, was like, I want half that.
Yeah.
I want half that. Like the court should just be like, bitch, please get the fuck out of here. So just with all those stories, I'm sure this guy's hesitant to tie his boat to another dock.
I get it.
But what do you think he should do? That's the problem, because I can understand the sentiment of like, if she's not really like the type of person that wants to just take his money or looking at that, she's probably going to look at it like it's offensive. But at the same time, she should also know the person she's with well enough to be like, I understand his reservations here.
Yeah.
And if I really don't plan on leaving him, I should either sign a prenup or not pressure him to get married and just trust that he's going to take care of me. Or if you're thinking like, what if he does leave me? Then you should really understand where he's coming from, because that's the same mindset he has.
That is the same mindset he would have.
So either way, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are legal benefits to getting married in the long run if something happens to him.
Yeah.
If something happens to him, I mean, it would go to his kids, which is probably a good thing. But what does she do? Like, turn around and just like, oh, life's over. Not over, but you know what I mean. So I don't know. There's a lot of.
And here's the thing, dude. Like, I don't mean to be like just a numbers person, because it sounds like they're very happy together and all this stuff. But at the same time, like, when you look at like who's bringing what to the table, because we're talking finances, someone's paying for the party, and it ain't her. She's jobless and she has no savings. So it's not really like she's like, oh, you know, I work hard to pay my own stuff. Like, he's like, oh, I'm already footing your bills, and you're worried that I'm gonna like not financially support you.
Yeah,
those are the red flags.
There are definitely red flags.
You're trying to be the nice guy.
I'm trying
to think of a nice situation where like it can work out, and I agree. But this is one of those weird situations where, as an outsider, if you are his financial advisor or his lawyer, you're going to be like, tread lightly, sir. You have to.
You have to. You do have to. I hate that.
I know.
I hate it
because
so
you
much.
don't know.
I hate it so much.
You don't know. And here's the thing. That's one of those, it's like Russian roulette, but instead of like boom and the bullet just hits your head and kills you, like it's a slow, like you see the bullet coming for years and years and years and years and years. And you're like, I can't move out of the way now. Like, the bullet's coming.
Yeah. So what do? He just says no?
I think he just, okay, let's think about this and actually like try to give some advice for once, like some actual good ones. So if we're in the situation, or your friend is in this situation, let's take it from both sides.
Okay.
The guy and the woman. If the guy is my friend, I'm telling him like, listen, you need to explain your side. You went through this horrible thing already, right? So you married somebody, in which case when you married them, I don't think you ever thought you were going to get divorced. Otherwise, you wouldn't have married them. And you got divorced, and it was horrible, most experience of your life, and you're still paying for it now. So you have legitimate reservations about getting married. If she can't understand those, there's a problem. There's either a problem in communication, a problem with her intent, because she just wants to deny those things and doesn't want to hear what you're saying because there's an agenda, or she's not understanding. Either way, those are all red flags. What you need to say is like, listen, I love you. I want to be with you. I'll support you like I have been. But I really don't. I feel like that would just add stress and unnecessary things to our relationship that I can't handle right now.
Yeah.
And if she insists on that and putting him through all the extra stress as a friend, I'd be like, maybe it's time to just, let the chips fall where they may. If I'm her friend, I'm probably saying the same thing as far as like, you got to understand where that dude's coming from. And in the meantime, look for a job, get financially secure so that you don't have to rely on somebody else.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to make bad decisions where if this guy becomes an alcoholic, you don't feel the need to stay with him because you don't have money.
I mean, if he's within 10 years of retirement, that means even if she got a low-key job, he's already paying all the bills. She could pocket all of it, theoretically.
Yeah.
So that would give her 10 years. We'll say she makes $40,000 a year. That's a $400,000 thing right there. She could put, what's up accounting? She could put $6,000 away into an IRA, and she would have a lot of money,
having a steady income, having like here's the thing with go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if she spent the next 10 years working and just pocketing all of it, if that's really what she wants, the financial security, if she pockets all of it, she would have it. She would have, within that 10-year span, absolute financial security with no reservation. Maybe not to the same degree that she currently has. That's different. But and maybe not like, oh, I'll never have a concern ever again. But it wouldn't be like, oh, if he left me, I'm penniless.
Yeah, but let's be realistic. Everyone has a ingrained, like instinctual pyramid of needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom is food, shelter. Okay, so if you don't work and you're relying on somebody else for all your bills, and you have not a penny to your name, you will eventually go back to that when things get bad, and you're going to think of that first. You're not going to think about his well-being or his feelings. You're going to be like, I need to fucking eat. I need a roof over my head, and I need to be able to survive. And that might lead you to stay with him longer than you want to. That might lead you to maybe try to go after his money when you really don't want to, but now you have to because you don't have any of your own money. There's no downside of getting a job. Even if it's, like you said, minimum wage or a 40 grand a year job, whatever the fuck. But something. You need something to have some bit of like, I'm okay, and I'm able to make more sound decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as like rushing off and getting married for the sake of like, now I'm taken care of and now you can't go anywhere. Like I think that adds a bad vibe to that whole thing.
That part does get to me. So if she wants to get married for the financial stability, that to me is the red flag. If she is, I don't want to say hippy dippy, but if she was more altruistic and saying like, no, it's important to me that we're married for marriage reasons. Granted, all like everything you said before would still be there.
Yeah.
But at least it's more altruistic. It's not just for I need to think of myself kind of thing.
Yeah, he specifically states in here that she wants to get married primarily for financial stability.
Yeah.
Which is not a good sign.
No. You can create your own financial stability.
Yeah, or you can make it more stable.
Yeah.
By helping.
Yeah.
Right? And if he's within, let's just put it this way. They have 6 kids. 4 are hers and 2 are his. And he's within 10 years of retirement. So he went through a marriage, he had 2 kids, and he got divorced, and he's been with her for 5 years already. So his kids are they got to be at least 10 years old. Right?
I'm saying they're closer to 20.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but at bare minimum, they're probably at least 10.
Yeah.
10 and 12 or 10 and whatever. So if that's the case, he's got to be at a maximum age or a minimum age of 45, right? Because some jobs you can retire at 55, most jobs at 65.
Yeah.
And we're going to say he's between 45 or 50 and 55, right? Retirement age 65. So why isn't she working?
Well, if they're all really that young, 6 kids, that's a lot to look after.
If they're even in the house anymore.
Well, if they are as young as you suggested, say they have 6 kids, the age range is between 10 and 15. Someone does have to look after them.
Yeah, true.
I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Okay, so we'll figure that maybe a couple of them are still in the house.
I mean, a 15-year-old you can look at it and say, all right, you're by yourself this afternoon, but a 10-year-old you can't. So
14-year-old you can.
Yeah.
13-year-old you can.
Yeah.
So within 2 years.
Yeah, but what about now? Listen.
That's silly.
You're silly.
That's silly. I know I am. I'm very silly. So at the end of the day, if this is your friend and you're giving your friend advice, and he basically says, like, I'm going to kind of blame you for how this turns out, what advice are you giving him?
Just shoot yourself. Life's not worth it.
That bullet's pretty cheap. Well, they're kind of expensive nowadays.
They are.
Yeah.
I still go back to my alimony. I still go back to my prenup. Talk to a lawyer. But as far as, like, running off and getting married right away. It's not right away. They've been dating for 5 years. He's had 5 years. Well, all right. No one thinks about this on year 1. So he's had 3 years to think about this, to really mull over what are the implications of what I'm doing right now. They're living together, so I'm assuming that nothing really new has changed.
But his question is, can he address this concern without marrying her? That's his question. His question isn't, like, he wants to know, can I fix this without marrying her?
So
It's either marry her or don't marry her.
So it depends on his level of what he wants. So if he's okay with her having financial stability as long as she's with him, there are avenues he can go. He can create a will in which he gets a small sum of money in case he passes away, and he can make stipulations. He can create a trust or an annuity in her name, and put a various amount of money in there, which would give her the same amount of financial security. Granted, she would probably want to know about these things, just in case, but and that would still protect him if they ever separated.
Well, yeah, but hold on. Financial stability and then also what happens if I die are two different things.
Yes and no. I mean, we're talking about an extreme scenario, but let's talk about that. If he died today,
Everything would go to his kids.
Which is 2 out of 7 people living in that household.
Mm-hmm.
7.
So he could say, if I die before the age of 65, here's the split: 40 to my wife, 60 to my kids. If I die after that, different split or whatever. Yeah. But financial stability here, he's saying he already pays for everything. He's already providing her financial stability.
Yeah, but my point is, if he doesn't currently have a will, if he dies today and the kids are 18, both kids are 18, the kids could just be like, our money, fuck you, bye.
True.
And then now she's with 4 kids, herself, no income, and she doesn't have the right to claim anything. Especially if the house is in his name, she would be like, all right, I don't have a home.
So
money.
So riddle me this, sir. What if he says, take it or leave it, and he leaves? Now there's nothing.
Well,
so wait. No. This is a part of it. If he decides, hey, we can't figure this out, I don't want to get married, you do, I'm going to leave then. And then she says, wait. Now what? Because now you don't have anything.
Well, now we're playing purposely adversary, right?
No. What I'm saying is that she's saying that I want to get married or I don't want to basically stay is kind of where he's going with this.
That's what he's implying, but we don't know that. We don't know that that's where they're at. We just know she wants to get married for financial stability.
But he literally said, can I address this concern without marrying her, or are we doomed? He's kind of implying that if we don't get married, the relationship's not going to work.
Yeah.
So let's just say the relationship didn't work. She wouldn't have any of that anyway.
I agree. But I don't fully agree that they're currently there. A relationship is more than just financial. She could say, I want financial security. And if he says, I need to think about it, I need to do this, I need to do that, she could be like, okay, that's fair, I love you. We don't know that she's going to be like, I'm coming after everything.
That's true.
They're not automatically adversaries because
I guess what I'm saying is that
picture.
What if he just sticks to his guns and says, I don't want to get married? She can't force him to get married.
No, she can't.
So what is your opinion if he just says, I don't want to get married again?
That's totally up to him. He's allowed to have that
Yes,
opinion.
but what I'm saying is, what if she decides to stay with him then?
Then there are, it depends on what he wants to do. Do you want to give her the financial stability that she's asking for? There are avenues you can take. Do you just want to roll the dice and say, I don't want to change anything. I love you and I'm still here, and we're just going to keep going down this road together.
But that's what I mean. Does that change your opinion of it? Because she's saying, I need these things to be in this relationship, essentially. I need financial stability and I want to get married, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if he says, I can't do that. I want to be with you, but I can't give you what you're asking for. What is your opinion if she's like, oh, okay, that's fine?
I don't know.
Because then I don't know how to feel about that either. Because if she's saying that those things are so important that she's willing to be like, this is the deal breaker, and then it doesn't break the deal, it's kind of weird. right?
A little bit.
Because then she ends up in a worse boat with nothing. Nobody's paying any bills, and she doesn't have a job, and she's on her own.
I don't like how negative we're getting so fast.
Oh no, the only reason I'm going there is because this is how his first marriage went, and this is how this guy's mind's working.
No, I agree. I just don't like that if he has like pushback, she's just like, oh, well, I'm gone and I have no one and I have nothing and I'm going to die in a hub.
But I don't think that's what would happen.
No, I don't either. But I don't know. It's just a weird back and forth. He can do what he wants.
You seem very shocked that divorce is an unhappy topic. All right, so we're done?
I guess so.
Okay. Any final thoughts on it before we read the actual advice from the expert?
Murder-suicide.
Suicide.
Just kill all. Do
Good old Romeo and Juliet.
There's too many people on Earth. Just do the world a favor.
Okay, so, dear Scared, this question you should address with your attorney. There's ways you can ensure that Lizzie will be taken care of in the event of your death or incapacitated. But there will require documentation. Your attorney can and should guide you in this regard. See, even she's like, you need to talk to your lawyer before you fucking sign anything.
Well, yeah, I fully agree with that.
Yeah. The way that he was writing, because the guy seems to really care for Lizzie.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously writing in, and he's not just like, fuck it, but he's basically saying, like, I have a horrific situation on my hands, and I don't want to go through that again, because it'll kill me.
He does want to address her concern.
Yeah. He seems like he's trying to do the right thing.
So, and there are avenues he can take. There are definitely avenues he can take for financial stability that aren't just marriage.
Yeah.
Talk to an accountant as well.
As the one guy that I've mentioned before would say, I like getting married so much I did it twice.
All right. Any last thoughts?
That's it.
All right, guys. Let us know what you think about the story in the comment section down below. What would you do if you were this guy? What avenue would you cave? Would you get married? Would you have? I keep wanting to say annulment.
see his brain. See this, everybody? Yeah. His brain is even like, dude, you're saying the wrong words. Annulment. Get out of it. Leave.
What would you do? What should he do? What should everybody do? Let us know. We'll talk to you guys later.
Lots of drugs.
Lots of drugs.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.